Alright, let's get right into this. Tensions are running high between Dean and AB right now. They almost came to blows yesterday, but here's the thing about these two. They are genuinely funny together on camera. There's this whole dynamic where they pretend to fall out and then get back together over and over like clockwork. AB in particular keeps things entertaining because the man simply drinks too much. It is a weird situation, but it works for content. Now, Mayo and Jim Jones addressed that viral clip from the BET Awards. If you watched the show, you already know what happened. Jim Jones was sitting in the crowd while Max B was up on stage performing alongside French Montana, and you could practically feel the discomfort radiating off him. Jim Jones is essentially a podcaster now. The days of his being a major rap figure are behind him. Security apparently swarmed around him during the performance, and he tried to play it off as some kind of seating mix-up. But what was really happening was that security was making sure he did not act out while Max B and French Montana were on stage, because everyone knows the bitterness is still very much alive. He literally just dissed Max B's last album that barely anyone bought. But Mayo and the crew addressed it on their show and had their laughs about it. At the end of the day, this ongoing drama is essentially keeping their podcast running and the lights on. And the most hilarious detail is that while Jim Jones is being talked about and addressed on camera, Trin is literally visible performing on the screen right behind him. You could not write that kind of comedy. Jim Jones would honestly be perfectly fine if he could just dial it back a little and let things go, but he is too extra about everything. He is a significant reason why Cameron and Jules stopped being cool with each other. He planted that seed way back in 2005 and kept it watered. He is both a big reason why Dipset was as electrifying as it was and a major reason why it all fell apart. He could never keep his mouth shut and always had to insert himself where he was not needed. Moving on, Jay-Z is apparently recording another diss record. Personally, I am not sitting here desperately waiting for new Jay-Z music. I have plenty already, and I'm good. But it is worth acknowledging that he is still active and engaged. We all know what he is positioning himself to do here. He wants to take shots at Kanye and Drake and remind everyone that he is still very much present in the conversation. He's Jay-Z. He can do whatever he wants with his career. Trin is in an unfortunate situation because she is a young woman just trying to break through and establish herself, but she comes across as a Nicki Minaj clone to an almost uncomfortable degree, lyrically, aesthetically, and in how she presents herself in music videos. The freestyle she put out is not impressive, and the issue is that this feels like it will be a flash in the pan without her developing a distinct identity. People will make the comparison to Nicki and Lil' Kim, but Nicki openly acknowledged her inspiration and brought her own unmistakable energy to it. Trin will not even acknowledge being inspired by Nicki, which is where the problem really starts. It is what it is. Zeus Network CEO Lemuel Palmer responded to allegations from a Baddies Gone Wild star claiming he coerced her. He denies everything and laid out his version of events, saying the relationship started as a friendship in 2023 after a previous relationship ended, that there was no discussion of employment when they first connected, that she repeatedly expressed interest in joining the network on her own, kept asking whether he had watched her audition, and that he actively tried to keep the friendship and business completely separate. He says he never promised her a role, that she was eventually suggested for consideration and approved by the production team due to an unexpected vacancy rather than any promise he made personally, and that after she was not selected for the next season, he made clear that the friendship meant more to him than any business opportunity. He categorically denies all allegations and says he intends to defend his reputation aggressively. Once one of these situations becomes public, though, more tend to follow in quick succession, which is exactly what we're watching happen with Charlemagne right now as well. His connections to Roc Nation are being exposed, and now other uncomfortable situations are surfacing around him. This is precisely why he should not have inserted himself into something that was fundamentally between the powers that be and academics. He came in as the mutual friend carrying a knife, and now he's dealing with the consequences of that on multiple fronts simultaneously. This situation is going to keep escalating on both sides until somebody gets in the middle and forces a sit-down to squash it. Floyd Mayweather is adamantly denying being broke and insisting he still has his properties, his money, and his private jets. My honest read on this is that he took some significant financial hits over the years, trusted the wrong people with his business affairs, overspent consistently across boxing, television projects, sponsorships, and real estate, and is now dealing with the combined consequences of that perfect storm. Max B and French Montana claims are circulating that they are sitting at the top 2 spots on the charts, but when you dig into it, this is specifically about rhythmic radio charts, which means certain markets are playing their records on rotation. The actual view counts on these songs do not compete with a lot of what else is currently out there. Drake alone has 7 records charting simultaneously. There is clearly some strategic chart positioning happening to create a narrative around their success. And look, they are doing well and they deserve credit for that. They have legitimate songs out right now, but they are not competing at the absolute top level, and trying to frame it as though they are does not help anyone. You cherry-pick from 50 different charts to make virtually anyone look dominant. Just keeping it honest. Adrian Broner linked up again with Big Meech, who is now apparently streaming on the same platform. Big Meech is clearly searching for the right lane to build a public presence and generate income. I was genuinely hoping the situation with 50 Cent around the BMF brand would have continued, because that had real potential. Little Meech navigates a delicate position, keeping his distance publicly while remaining in his father's orbit. It is a complicated dynamic to manage in the public eye. Quavo is now publicly calling out quality control, accusing the label of owing him money going back over 6 years since Takeoff passed. He says he stayed quiet out of respect for QC's leadership, but is no longer willing to remain silent about what he says is money that is rightfully owed to him. Rick Ross is out here trolling ahead of his upcoming album Set in Stone. He went on TMZ and floated the idea of going back at Drake, and everyone had a good laugh about it. Meanwhile, Drake was watching a FIFA match, used the "Where She At" meme when Ronaldo scored, and linked up with Ronaldo for a photo afterward. This appeared to be in Texas, though Ronaldo's post made it sound like Canada, which left everyone slightly confused about what the actual timeline of events looked like. And then, Offset went at Rio, who is one of Lil Baby's artists, coming at him pretty aggressively, questioning his sales figures, his age, his loyalty. Rio responded calmly, saying he wasn't even dissing Offset in the first place and told him to relax. And honestly, Offset has been coming across as genuinely unhinged lately. Something is clearly going on with him beneath the surface.